the guys who we are, Stoomboy, the combat companion. So, as always, shows brought to you by Kaizen Fightwear. So, Kaizen Fightwear is a local brand here in Scotland, run by Big Max. So, anybody in the jiu-jitsu scene will know exactly who Big Max is. So, Big Max training over at Prana BJJ. He's obviously put together a company which does apparel for jiu-jitsu. So he's got some funky designs. Definitely a favourite amongst all you jiu-jitsu nerds, because as he's got all these funky designs that you guys love. He's got the Scotland rash guards as well, which are absolutely sweet. They've got that powder blue colour rather than the kind of darker blue. So they look really, really nice. So head over to Kaizen Fightwear _co on Instagram, and you've all got all the information. If you're looking to put an order in, then I say just drop Big Max a message, and he'll get your order in there. They're cheap as well. They're not, I wouldn't say cheap. Cheap probably degrades it, but they're an affordable price. They're an affordable price as well. So, so we're going to be talking then about Diamond Alley. The Diamond Alley is going to be on Saturday, 24th of May at the Bonar Hall in Dundee. Now, it's going to be an amazing event. We've already seen some of the matchups that have been put together. Yeah, I mean, it's going to be fantastic. Just what Dundee needs as well. I mean, Dundee is a fighting city, well known for being a fighting city. What was the guy said? He said, if he goes down to London, if somebody hears his accent, they say, where are you from? Like, Dundee. He said, oh, hard man. Right? So that's Dundee. That's Dundee. So it's going to be an amazing event on Saturday the 24th. So we're going to be talking there with the brains behind Diamond Alley. So Darren Clark of Inverted Diamond. So Darren, obviously a well-established and well-respected black belt coming out of Scotland. Had an amazing career throughout his journey as well. As I said, he's done some amazing things. Obviously, we had Art of Combat, and now we've got Diamond Alley. So we're definitely buzzing to see what Darren's going to bring on the 24th. But listen, Darren, always a pleasure, brother. Thank you very much for
Thanks very much for having me on, mate. It's good to chat. It's always good to chat.
Yeah, just saying how handsome Darren looks. I always talk about how handsome Darren looks. So the sun definitely brings a lot more handsomeness out in Darren. So
it's the vitamin D, mate. It just lifts you up. You know what I mean? I don't know if you get that over in Ayrshire that much, mate. We get it twice a year over in Fife. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Wednesday and today.
We don't get it at all, mate. As you can tell. As you can tell. So, so Dan, how's you anyway? How's everything going at the gym? Inverted Diamond, obviously, fantastic logo. Obviously, the gym's looking sweet anytime we see pictures and videos.
Yeah, mate, it's actually going really good, mate. I'm actually really, really pleased with it, to be fair. It's going absolutely perfect. Obviously, it's been a little bit of a switchover from the Gracie Barra. So, logistically wise, it was a bit of a headache when you're juggling sort of loads of balls and then you put another ball in the mix to juggle. It makes it a little bit harder. But starting to get that juggle back to normal again. And then spinning those plates, and then I go and throw in Diamond Alley, which was a bit of a mad one. But it's something that's been kind of brewing in my mind for a while, to be fair. Like we spoke about previously, at events and stuff, we're always, all the Scottish fighters and all the Scottish competitors, they're always travelling down south quite a lot to get, not so much good matches, but to get different matches as well. You know what I mean? You've got a lot of guys travelling around the world now as well, to get not so much like the same people, but diverse opponents. You know what I mean? A little bit, not so much. I'm not even going to say higher level, because you can still get a good level of competitor in Scotland, but just a little bit different. So this is kind of the idea with the show and stuff as well, is to offer a little bit of something different, something that people are putting on around the world, trying to bring that to Scotland as well. Like obviously inspired by CGI type of event with the slanted walls, with a little change. I didn't want to get any sue or claims, etc., for having my degrees, etc. off. But I just quite like that concept, mate. You know what I mean? How it was constant keeping the action going. 10-9 scoring system. Everyone knows at the end of each round who's winning. So they've got to push for the action. You get your rest round. You can actually start to strategise, and you can get a chat with your coach, etc. as well, which makes it a lot more exciting. And we're kind of sort of sticking with sort of ADCC rule set as well, which is perfect. Safety wise, we're going to keep like the white and blue belts just to like sort of straight leg locks, etc., and then the purples to blacks. I feel that they're more kind of sort of serious level as well, and they can sort of do full pro rules, really, all your leg locks and stuff and that involved for there. So that's been great feedback on that straight away. Every single person that I've told about the rules, etc. And I've got loads more people to speak to on that as well. I've got loads more fights to still announce as well. So we've got a really, really stacked card I'm going to try and get all the fights out like in the next sort of 4 or 5 days. And the junior card is stacked as well. So we've got kind of like, I would probably say like the young subs kind of sort of series and then the sub series sort of thing. It's very similar to that. Really, really cool idea. I liked obviously taking my students down to that as well, and liked how it was run, etc. Like the boys do a cracking job of that as well. So yeah, squeezing in the juniors in the morning, having a little bit of a break when the juniors kind of finish at 2 o'clock. Have all the guys coming in then for the medicals, so we're ready to start at 4 o'clock for the evening event, and we'll get the bar and stuff open as well. I know that Scottish folk, they like to fight and they like to drink, you know what I mean, mate? So it's going to be...
It's like, what time's the venue open it? Okay, it's open at 4. What time's the bar open it? It's open at 4:30. I'll be there at 4:30, Darren.
There's pubs over the road, so I can guarantee you the pubs will be filled up before 4 o'clock probably.
Yes. Obviously, I got a couple of comments just going around. Obviously, Dale Boy, Cody Steele's dad. Obviously, Cody Steele up at Highland Top Team, just saying obviously he's looking forward to this. So, so I believe they're travelling down for it as well. So
they'll travel anywhere, mate. To be fair, absolute machines. I love the energy that Cody comes with. You know what I mean? She's like, doesn't matter where it is. I want to compete. I want to test myself. I want to go for it. So I was really looking forward to getting her matched up as well. Like I said, we spoke about this previously at other events and stuff as well. It's hard to match kids as well. It's sometimes hard to get that right level, but sometimes kids have just got to get a test. You know what I mean? They've got to step up, and really, it's about how hard you want to compete. Like, you've got to be a savage in this game. You know what I mean? You have to be a savage, no matter what you're doing. Just be a savage at it. And I think she's hitting that pretty hard at the minute. And she's sort of nailing that kind of savage kind of mentality, just like obsessive and just hitting it really hard. And it's great to see, to be honest with you. Like, so hopefully the girl that I've got her match with, she's like one of the like sort of sleeper girls. Like she's like a little bit younger and a little bit less on the level. But I've taught her she's stepping up, so she better step up, and she will do. She's in extra classes all the time. She does double sessions and stuff as well. So I'm looking forward to that match. So there's a lot of junior matches I'm looking forward to as well. We've actually got quite a lot of high-end sort of teens matches as well, which is pretty cool.
That's what I love. I mean, Cody Steele's a perfect example of that. I mean, she'll fight anybody, anytime, anywhere. So I always laugh saying that Inverness is a minimum of 2 hours anywhere at all. So, but as I say, they're regularly travelling about, and as I say, we see that with Cody. She'll step out there. Not just Cody, but I mean, a lot of the kids in Scotland, we're seeing them out there going up against, like, on paper, potentially better people. They've maybe had more wins, more submissions, they've won more medals and stuff like that, but that doesn't put them off. And that's the Scottish mentality. The kids in Scotland are like, well, we're willing to take on anybody.
Yeah, I think that's good for growth, and I think that's what keeps our level so high, is because we're not scared to test ourselves that much. You know what I mean? Just go for it. It's fine. You either win or you learn. There isn't really any losing. You know what I mean? You're still getting a chance to travel. You're still getting a chance to meet new friends and people and stuff as well. And to be fair, right, in a kid's journey, all these things are really insignificant to what they're going to do as an adult. And if they do so much as a kid, that it's just going to benefit them as an adult. And you're never going to remember what Cody won at 12 years old, but you'll remember next week. You know what I mean? Because she's 12 years old. But when she's 18 and she's 19 and she's standing at ADCC with her hand up, or a CGI or IBGF internationals, you're not going to say, oh, I remember when you won that one at 12 years old. That's all kind of forgotten about. But these are the things that build to the points. You know what I mean? So the kids need to remember that, I think, as well.
Same as amateur MMA and pro MMA. I mean, as the amateur MMA is about learning, it's about building up, and then as soon as you get pro, you've done all the bad things, you've learned from all the bad positions you've been in and all that kind of stuff, and you're now a pro. So it's exactly the same with a kid and an adult.
100%. And I think a lot of people back in the day, maybe, like, in my opinion, turned pro too soon because they felt that they wanted to get in the right matchups that they needed, or the guys that were coming through, there was a big, massive, significant difference in this amateur and that amateur. So they thought, oh, go pro. But they should never have went pro. You know what I mean? They should maybe have actually travelled down south or went further afield, maybe abroad. But they jumped pro too soon, whereas nowadays, especially in Scotland, you're seeing a lot of guys staying amateur for a while. Like Lorenzo stayed amateur for quite a while as well. And young Stevie Simmons is doing a really good job of sort of really getting that experience at amateur as well, and probably going to be a successful pro as Lorenzo as well. So it's really quite good to see that, so that we're getting a chance to, right, we're just going to learn. And when we do go into the pro scene, we're not making any mistakes. You know what I mean? We're making sure it's done right, which is pretty cool.
And then obviously, all right, uncle, that's my niece. Just in case you're wondering, Dan. So obviously, my family watches me. Do you know what I mean? You would think they would have enough of me, but no, they come and watch me doing this as well. So, so big shout out to Courtney. Big shout out to Courtney. So, talk about obviously the gym. You talked about moving away from Gracie Baja and stuff like that. I know there was a lot, not you, but I know there was a lot of stuff between that was going on with Gracie Baja over the last kind of year or so. Anyway, a couple of years. But obviously, you making the move over. I mean, you were always successful prior to Gracie Baja in regards to your gym and so on. But Gracie Baja just gave you that little bit something different.
Yeah, I think for me anyway, mate, I think to be honest with you, if I had to be honest and say, would you choose to go away from Gracie Baja? I probably wouldn't choose. But what I need to do is I need to take stock of my parameters, where I am, what I am, who I am, and where I want to go. You know what I mean? And where I think that the brand is going as well. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And that's quite an important factor as well, because really when the contracts and stuff got changed within Gracie Baja franchise rules, we were on a licensing agreement beforehand, whereas I understand fully why they changed it to a franchise agreement. That's just part of growth, that's just part of development, that's just part of business. It's just what happens in life, you know what I mean? It's nothing against me personally. Probably on the grand scheme of things, Darren Clark as a person around the world within Gracie Baja is pretty much a small fish. But in regards to Gracie Baja in Scotland, I would probably say I'm a bigger fish. You know what I mean? And not being like big-headed or that. That's just being real. So I think that there was probably quite a lot like that sort of made the choice and didn't really feel like they had to make the choice, but they were kind of their hand was kind of forced. You know what I mean? Like I feel they moved the goalposts, I kicked the ball, and the ball didn't really go on the goalposts, and I was just like, oh well, I'll just get off the pitch then and just go and play ball somewhere else. You know what I mean? And I think that's kind of how it's went down, mate. So there's not really been any bad blood or that. It's just obviously, like I said, I had to really think hard about it, etc. And that's where the name Inverted Diamond came from. You know what I mean? Diamonds are formed under serious pressure from below and above. And that's kind of where the pressure sort of was coming from. Like, are you going to stay? Are you going to go? Blah, blah, blah. Is this going to benefit you in the future? Where do you see the brand going? Where do you see yourself going? How much do you want to commit to this kind of sort of... And all these questions were swirling about in my head for a while, you know what I mean? And me personally, like, obviously, when I use the term brand there, you know what I mean? And I think that what they're trying to do is brand. When you change your terminology to a brand from team, then it kind of changes the trajectory the way you're going, you know what I mean? And I always felt that I was part of the Gracie Baja team. Whereas going forward and probably looking to the future, would I be telling someone I'm part of the Gracie Baja team or I'm part of the Gracie Baja brand?
Yeah.
You get what I'm saying? So it's one of those ones, you know what I mean? I'm like, right. So that's where I thought, that's where the sort of idea came to, like, I need to sort of maybe step away just now and start to go this. And basically a lot of people have been asking and stuff as well about myself and Val and Dundee, etc. Why did he stay Gracie Baja? You were in the Inverted Diamond. I've got two places in Fife. I've got two small gyms in Fife. Fife's a small region of places. Obviously, I collaborate between the two of them. I kind of share my time between the two of them. But paying fees, I'm not going to get into the logistics and the figures, but paying fees for one place and then paying fees for another place doesn't become financially viable. If I was in a big city and I had a lot of footfall, etc., small towns don't have much footfall for things like BJJ because it's very, very niche market as well. So I just felt that the numbers didn't work. But I did advise Val that it might be best just to stay Gracie Baja because he's in Dundee. It's a really big city. It's a really big, prosperous city. And I think he's done a really good job, or we did a really good job of setting that up. And we just basically come to an agreement where, it was passed over to him and I'm going to concentrate more on the Fife. He's going to concentrate more on Dundee. And he's doing an amazing job, mate. You know what I mean? And I feel that I've got a lot of are contributing factors towards that as well. You know what I mean? So we've obviously still got a great relationship. We're going to see Darren Brown next week. And we're together. So we work well together, mate. You know what I mean? And Val's a great guy. So I think that it should kind of be the separation factor when you step away from a team. Shouldn't really be like politics, or it shouldn't really be any bad blood, etc. It's just a decision based on suiting that person better. You know what I mean? If someone leaves your team, unless there was nothing untoward happened, etc. You know what I mean? Or nothing bad happened, then it's just a simple thing. These things do happen in life. It's very, very simple. It's a small it's sometimes unfortunate, but sometimes these things have to happen. You know what I mean? So that's it, mate. So nothing. I was over at Jersey celebrating Rob Staples' birthday. Obviously, Bradley was there for a seminar. Bradley came over for a seminar at Gracie Barra Dundee recently. Obviously, stayed at my house and stuff as well. So although we're obviously not part of Gracie Barra anymore, we can still obviously be friends, because obviously it's been a built up relationship over many, many years. You don't just build friendships, you know what I mean? So
Well, I for one, I mean, I remember when I left GB, and it wasn't a GB thing. It wasn't a GB issue. Obviously, when I left, it was something very, very different. Do you know what I mean? I remember the first person ever to message me after it was you. Do you know what I mean? And I remember we sat and we chatted on the phone about it for at length. Do you know what I mean? And so for you leaving, I know a little part of me knows how difficult it would have been. Do you know what I mean? Because, do you know what I mean? GB it's not a brand. Well, it is a brand, right? But do you know what I mean? It's a family, it's a team. And it's very, very difficult to walk away from it. Do you know what I mean? So, so I know. Do you know what I mean? I know as well, since when you left and we had a chat about it as well. So I know how difficult it was for you. But it's a business thing. I mean, as you said, there's not a lot of footfall where you are. It's not like you've got 200 students walking in and out the door every month. Do you know what I mean?
So, So, and I just think that maybe the projections, that without getting too much into the details as well, the contract was really deep. You know what I mean? It was a deep, deep contract. And rightfully so, because at the end of the day, if I was growing a business at thousands of schools across the world, I would want my contract to be deep as well. But what if I was doing something out with contract? And I'm not going to say that I was going to get pulled for something that I was doing out with contract, but what I'm saying is the potential is there to be pulled. And I just didn't like that sort of like lack of security, so to speak. And a lot of folk can sort of argue in the other term that you've got a lot more security and it comes with a bigger brand and a bigger name and stuff as well. So there's loads and loads of arguments to and fro, to be fair. But I reckon like the biggest thing that you just need to understand is you do what's right for you and what you feel right for your family and what's right for your team. And nothing's really changed really since we've left, me. Everyone's kind of sort of stayed the same in that as well. Nothing really needed changed apart from just a logo that sits behind me, to be fair. And that's about it, mate. So, it's unfortunate, but they're going to do well. I'm going to still do well. I mean, I don't really think that anyone's going to lose out of it, to be fair. I respect why they've done it. Obviously, do I think that it was maybe done wrong? Like, I think maybe us finding out about the contract the way that we did on a Reddit article was maybe wrong. But everyone's made mistakes in business. I've made loads of mistakes in business as well, and I would regret some decisions that I've made. So you can't cry over spilt milk, you know what I mean? You've got to get on with it and say, look, this is what's happening. But and it's all to do with leadership as well, and how you do stuff, you know what I mean? So they're operating on a far greater scale than I am, but I'm still leading my team and my organisation as well, you know what I mean? So it all has to be done like the best possible way. So I think it's just that's what it is.
One thing as well, I mean, people always go with the coach. Do you know what I mean? Because I mean, you could set up a gym anywhere at all. Will it be successful? It depends who's in charge of it. Do you know what I mean?
It's all about the inside man. You know what I mean? The man inside me, or the person in this world nowadays, the person inside me that's running the academy obviously is the person that keeps people, retains people, gets one in, and obviously teaches them as well and puts out what they bring in. So competition results, all that sort of stuff come from what's happening inside the academy. You know what I mean? And I know that sort of GB can sort of systemize stuff a little bit more and keep it sort of timely as well. But a lot of people like to be free. You know what I mean? A lot of people like to have that sort of freedom. And I think that kind of that's what I've changed a little bit as well. I've taken maybe, I'm not going to say the bad things, but I'm going to take the things that I think was questionable within the GB organisation. I've tried to change it for this. So say for instance, like if you want to wear that funky camouflage gi, then you can, but you can wear it at open mat schedules only. So you can't come to my curriculum classes wearing any gi. You've got to wear my gi. You've got to wear my uniform. So it's very, very relaxed, but still professional. You get what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So we're still kind of sort of meeting all criteria, in my opinion. Whereas I've had this conversation many, many times with the head of the organisation, had it with Val and stuff as well, and the agreements were kind of sort of different. I was like, no, that's just the way it's got to be, and that's how it is. And I don't really think that's the best way. I think people should have the opportunity to express themselves as they see fit. Rainbow, gay, whatever, rash guard, or you know what I mean, whatever they think's humorous or to them, you know what I mean. But they should also respect the academy's rules. So if the academy says that we need you in uniform 20 classes a week on the mat at these scheduled times, then that's fair enough. If they disobey the times, then that's showing disrespect to the academy rules, in my opinion, which then is alerting me to a tricky member, which then you can pull aside and say, have a chat and stuff. But if I'm being cool with you, giving you an opportunity to express yourself, you should be giving me back the same sort of respect as well. So I think that was one of the changes that we made as well. And there's a few other bits and pieces that we changed as well. So
yeah, that's old school rules, though, man. Do you know what I mean? That's like, these are passed down from the forefathers of jiu-jitsu all the way down throughout generation to generation. Do you know what I mean? So there was always rules, and there has to be certain rules in place. You can't just have a free-for-all where people are coming in doing what they want.
I totally agree with that. You know what I mean? Like, the reason that no one speeds in their car is because if you do speed, you get points on your license. If you get too much points on your license, you lose your license. You know what I mean? So there's consequences to rules, mate. You need to have that, because if you didn't, there's going to be cars flying all over the place, people on phones, and then there's going to be people walking over the road and getting hit with cars because it's coming down the road at 100 miles an hour. So there's definitely regulations that need to be put in place, and I get that 100%. But I think that jiu-jitsu evolves, so why shouldn't the business model evolve with the jiu-jitsu, if you get what I'm saying? So it should be sort of like to and fro. Whereas I do respect the fact that it's regimental and it's very professional and stuff as well. And it's good for kids, especially. I like it for the kids. You know what I mean? Like, it keeps them in line, because kids can get, like, and adults as well, but kids more. They push it and push it and push it, and they try and get themselves out of line, etc. So it's really good for keeping them in line. And then adults are just really big kids, to be fair, mate. That's all they are. You know what I mean? That's all we are, mate. A little bit here, being all sophisticated, drinking coffee and stuff, but we're just bunch of, you know what I mean? But
one thing I like about,
like, I'm a big kid. I want to do Diamond Alley. I want to do a show. I want to do it like this. I want to have padded walls like Craig Jones. Does he's been smoking too much pot or sniffing too much stuff, and he comes up with this idea. All he is a big kid with ADHD, and then he's got a millionaire backer. You know what I mean? So that's all it is, mate. So we're just big kids.
One thing I like about you, Darren, as well, and again, we spoke about this a number of times, is, do you know what I mean? You put a lot of time and effort into your students. Do you know what I mean? All the way from like your black belts right down to your brand new white belts. Do you know what I mean? So, and the one thing you don't allow is cliques of people where, and you'll notice it. I mean, you'll notice it where, like, you'll have maybe 2, 3, 4 people, or just we're training together. Whereas you want all your guys training with each other, everybody in the gym. So you tend to kind of separate the cliques and make sure that everybody's training together. Everybody's got the same goal, same focus.
It is hard to do that, mate. You know what I mean? It is really hard, because cliques naturally kind of sort of collide with each other. Like, you know what I mean? Like, the positive people will speak to the negative ones, or the ones with the pink hair will go with, you know what I mean? So it's really like people are naturally finding likabilities about each other that are like them, so they feel comfortable, and then they click up. Whereas what we've got, or how I've structured it really in the last sort of 4 or 5 years, was the expansion between like sort of Kirkcaldy, and then we branched out to Dundee and Dundee. Was we made a really solid effort, man, to get together as a team. You know what I mean? We really made a solid effort, and I think that was really important, is to creating, like, not cliques. Like, obviously we've got like groups within the group that are like pally and stuff, and there's a few guys next month going on a stag do for the gym. So there's about 7 or 8 years going to a guy's stag do and stuff. So that's pretty cool. But there's no any cliques, mate. You're right. There's no any cliques. It's quite good how everyone kind of sort of comes together as one team. And even like guys don't train with each other on the daily or that, or even on the weekly. When they do come in, you know what I mean? They get on like they do train with each other every day. It's mad, but it's cool to see. It's really cool to see. And I think it's quite important that as well, mate, because cliques then create drama, then create politics, then create loads of animosity, and it's just like, and you're going to get that regardless. Like, I'm not even saying that I don't have it, because you're going to get it anyway. You know what I mean? You're going to get that regardless. It's just natural, human beings. But we do really have, like, it's at a minimum. You know what I mean? It's really at a minimum. and it's dead good. And the vibe's good in the academy at the minute. It's perfect. It's sweet as a nut. Everyone took on the change of the name really well. Like, they were buzzing about it. They were like, it's very individual. I don't know if you notice in the logo behind me, but it's kind of got a DC in it. So I don't know if you would see it.
Yeah.
It's like the guy that designed that logo. He's one of my students. He's designed like loads and loads of cool stuff. He's done the Diamond Alley poster on that as well. Big Marcus. He's a great guy. He was like, look, because I gave him like some sort of mock-ups of the design, and he goes, oh, I'll play about with that. I'll do you a better design. And as soon as I seen it, I just knew that was the logo for it. You know what I mean? It was just as soon as I seen it, and I was really keen on the other ones as well. But because I didn't know logos, I was just only going by my perception of what a cool logo was. Whereas he actually knew logos. This guy designed a logo that was on Floyd Mayweather's shorts for 2 fights. You know what I mean? So we're talking like, this guy understands branding, this guy understands logos and that as well. So it's really cool, mate. Really cool.
Yeah. Talk about Diamond Alley then. Obviously, Diamond Alley's been in your head for a while, right? Because obviously, you're a businessman. You're a guy that loves jiu-jitsu. You love this scene. Do you know what I mean? You're always looking to kind of look for ways to make it better, not just for your students, but the community as a whole. Do you know what I mean? And that's something I like about you as well. I mean, you're always for the community. Yeah, you're a gym owner. You want the best for your gym, but you also want the best for the community. So tell us about Diamond Alley then.
I think Diamond Alley was all about like sort of contributing. How can you contribute? You know what I mean? What can you give? And like the biggest thing for me, right, mate, is like you said, I'm a businessman, right? But obviously I've run the numbers in my head. Will this work? Will it not work? We'll find out if Diamond 2 happens, because if Diamond Alley 2 happens, then we'll find out. But really, like, these things cost a lot of money to run, mate. You know what it's like. You've been around a lot of shows now, mate. You've spoken to a lot of the promoters and stuff and the organisers. Sometimes people lose a lot of money, you know what I mean? And it was quite funny because I was listening to a video yesterday. It was a guy on a podcast, actually. He was talking about, you know how you get the competition pages and they give away houses and stuff, or they give away cars. Yeah. And sometimes they give away like 20 grand, and then the ticket sales amount to 40 grand. So they're 20 grand in profit. Whereas this guy was talking about losing 500 grand because he went too all out on a house that was 1.5 million. And he's only up to about 1 million sales and stuff, you know what I mean? So, and the house has to be given away to a ticket holder by tomorrow. And he's like, I might lose 500 grand. Like, you know what I mean? It's one of these risks that you take. And I'm kind of the same on Diamond Alley. I had to build, construct, pay all the labour, all the materials. I had to hire a really cool venue as well. Obviously, like loads of the logistics, like the pay-per-view as well. So not just the people that are on the ground watching the event in person, other people that can't make it, family members that want to see their nephew or their friend, etc. compete. They can maybe clock in from anywhere in the world. So it's on pay-per-view as well, which is costing quite a bit. We spoke about that as well. So hopefully it does. Hopefully it does take off, and it will be a platform that people can use in Scotland to excel their name, etc. Give them a little bit of an experience about. I want to try and make it as professional as possible. You know what I mean? Every single person that fought in Art of Combat back in the day always said, and I'm not trying to slate any shows because there's been loads and loads of good shows in Scotland, and there is loads of good shows in Scotland. They've always said it's the most professional event they've been on, and it made them feel really good. They got treated well. It was run professionally at the show. Everything just all sort of ticked the boxes. Yeah. But the reason that Art of Combat hasn't just basically made its way back to the scenes after COVID was because it does take a lot of investment. It does take a lot of time and energy and effort. You know what I mean? And it's a big risk as well. You know what I mean? And I'm just thinking to myself, like, what am I doing just now? Well, I've just changed the name of my team. It's BJJ focused. I should maybe focus on doing a BJJ event, and if it goes well and the event space is cool for me and I'm happy being in it again, then Art of Combat might come back because that's what I like doing. But it's one of the ones, mate. Like, I just need the support from the people that I'm kind of giving this to as well. You know what I mean? So I know that young subs do this, like sell a few tickets and stuff to get on the event, etc. Blah blah blah. I'm kind of using the same concept. You know what I mean? If you can bring 5 people locally to this event, which I don't think's that much, you know what I mean? An uncle, a cousin, a brother, a mother, a father, a friend, a girlfriend, etc. It's not that much, but it's a contribution. And it's a contribution of respect, to be fair as well. Your man here's putting on a big show, spending a lot of money. We're over £12,000 already. I'm getting into the venue the night before, which they're charging me for, to set up the event. But it means I can start the juniors straight away in the morning. So that means I can offer the opportunity to the juniors because I'm getting a chance to build the night before. So I probably won't get to bed till 12 at night on the night before, and then we're straight in there at 8 o'clock in the morning, and then we're going to be straight through till probably 12 by the time we load a van up as well at night time. So it's going to be a busy, busy weekend. And then you've got ADCC the next day, which guys are going to be competing on for my gym, and I'll maybe be going through a referee, etc., and all the sort of logistics of trying to get the alley sort of back into storage. So there'll be loads and loads of things that are on play. So I just hope that I get the support for people, and I have had the support, by the way, honestly. See the people that have messaged me to try and get on. You spoke about Big Max for Rising Prana.
Prana.
That I tried to get him matched as well. Some people I just can't really get matched at the minute. It's like really, really difficult. But I appreciate him putting his name forward. And there's been loads of folk, mate, to be honest with you. So hopefully, as and when we do more events, this event isn't just going to be posted in Dundee. It's going to be moving around Scotland. You know what I mean? So it's going to be popping around Scotland, etc. I want to try and equally offer every single person, like, you know what I mean, the opportunity to have Diamond Alley support their gym. Like, if you think about this, right, like Val's got like 17 students on, right, the event, right, for his gym. So what's that going to do? It's going to benefit Val's gym. You know what I mean? People are going to see it like, oh, BJ, man, that's amazing. That shows are great. I'm going to touch base with a guy and learn about this. So imagine if I had one in Glasgow, then loads of Glasgow gyms. Like, I'm not going to benefit from that, mate. I'm in Fife, you know what I mean? Nobody's going to watch Diamond Alley for Glasgow and then they come at Fife. They're going to go to a place in Glasgow. So what does that do? It predominantly grows the BJJ sport and the BJ community further. So if I move it around Scotland, etc. So that's kind of the plan anyway. See if it works. See if it's going to be logistically sort of set up that kind of way, and that should be sound. And then I could do them more regularly as well because you're kind of offering people in that sort of area. Because like I've had a lot of people contact me from Glasgow, and then trying to get them matched and stuff as well. It's like, oh, I've fought that guy before, and I thought, oh, I'll try and get somebody else, mate. You know what I mean? But it's really hard because we're matching specific weights. We're not just going under 80, under 90, under 100. We're going like, right, I'm going to match you 83, I'm going to match you 86. It's really hard to get guys sort of matched that way as well. And I want to kind of get good matches as well. You know what I mean? I want to try and get good. Like, I've got a few guys that are like, there's 2 or 3 matches that are like sort of brown and black belt, which are pretty cool. And I've got a purple belt and a brown belt. So like I made sure I ran it by them. Made sure I was honest and open with every single person I was matching. This guy's a brown belt, mate. He's been training this long. This is much information that I've found about him. Are you cool with that? And then some guys are like, yeah, man, I'm cool, man. It's fucking grappling, man. Let's go for it. I'm going to test myself, which is pretty cool. And then I got, you'll know John Humphreys. He's a black belt for Fife. A guy who's been on the scene for a long time, mate. Like, trained with John for years. Always competing. Like, literally, like, does so much more than some of the young guys will do, you know. I was trying to get him a match. I was chatting to him at one of the Scottish grappling events, and he goes, "Aye, mate, I'll be up for that. Can get some of the guys on day myself, train with the guys." I says, "Right, neighbour, I'll get you a match." But he's 50 odd years old. You know what I mean? So it's like even the guy on the poster there as well, Pedro. He's 54. You know what I mean? So it's like I wanted to sort of match him sort of similarly to some of the other guys as well. So basically, I got a guy for Ireland, and he contacted me saying, "Look, mate, I've got a guy. He's 55, black belt, just competed at Dublin IBJF. Are you cool for neighbour, mate? I've got a match for you." I text John. John was like, "I'll do a gi match if you want, neighbour."
No, I think Darren, he might have just got a phone call. That's what tends to happen. They usually get a phone call when it gets cut off. So, so we're just waiting on Darren coming back. So obviously, he was talking about the matchups there. Then some of the matchups, and again, we're looking at some of the posters here. And he talked about John Humphreys. John Humphreys, obviously, Food Dog Martial Arts. John's one of the most awesome guys I've ever met. Do you know what I mean? I know I was going through some stuff, and the one person that kept messaging me was John Humphreys. Do you know what I mean? Just to find out exactly what was going on and stuff like that, make sure I was okay, and so on. But yeah, awesome guys. It's going to be great to see John step out there. So obviously John getting a good bit of love there in the comments, as you see. So that'll be an awesome matchup. Do you know what I mean? So obviously got Robert Steele, Robbie Ferguson. So again, another awesome matchup. So two again amazing grapplers. Going to be going head to head against each other. This was the video. And again, we'll touch on that once we try and get Darren back. So we'll see exactly what's happening with Darren. Again, what it could be as well. I mean, if he's doing it on his phone, it could be that his phone is heated up a bit too much. Obviously, this weather in Scotland. So obviously, it could be heated up a little bit. All right, so we'll try and get him back anyway. But this was the video of them putting everything together. There was a good bit of trying to set it up, and again, you'll see the way they're doing it is to make sure that the spectators and so on can actually see what's going on in the action, because you've got the raised sides. So what they had to do was try and do it so that everybody in the venue can actually see what's going on. Okay, so and that's where you'll see it all set up. And again, amazing venue, really amazing venue, good seating positions. So let's see, we've got Darren. There we go, Darren. You back? Yeah.
Aye, sound mate. I didn't know I jumped off there actually. I seen you changing the picture, and I thought you done that on purpose when I was talking about a match there.
Oh no! What we done is I jumped down just while you were kind of off. We kind of jumped on, but that was the match up there with John Humphrey.
Yeah, mate, that's the one there. Aye, awesome match. Really pleased that I got that match. And as you can see, all the love in the comments and that for it as well. So that's kind of the kind of stuff that we're looking for as well. A bit of diversity from people as well. You know what I mean? So not just like a full sort of no-gi, like loads of hungry blue belts just going at it. Like really showing people as well, like 50 odd years old, mate, and they're black belts and they're still going strong and they're competing as well. You know what I mean? So it's bang on there. That's perfect.
Yeah. And then we were talking about, obviously, this was the setup. This was you setting up. And what I was saying as well is you were having to, you'll see the different positioning and so on. And that was because you were trying to make it so that everybody can see it. Because as we see there were some blind spots, depending on where you had the mats. There was a lot of blind spots and so on. So there was a lot of putting stuff together, taking it apart, putting it together again, taking it apart.
So big shout out to the Bonar Hall, mate. They actually pulled me a blinder there for actually the venue hire, and obviously the night before they're charging me a nice little pretty penny, but they made that sweeter by letting me set up and build it a few days obviously previously. So that was just last week, mate. We got that built, which is actually a massive help because the construction of that was way more than I actually thought it was going to be. So I thought it was going to be quite easy to do, mate, but it wasn't. You know what I mean? I had a full team of joiners and that on that, and obviously I was joining myself, so I kind of know a little bit about the building. But it was when we built it, we had it in our minds that the stage was going to house all the VIP sponsor tables, and they were going to look into the viewing platform, which you see there. But really, when I kind of thought about it and I measured it out, we were kind of like, I was lying on the mat and I was trying to look at the first tier seating, and you were having to be on the second tier or third tier to see right into the matted space. So I didn't really think that was good. So I thought, you know what, if I can spin this round, put it on the stage, then put my VIP section in the middle so they've got full view, I can give their businesses more exposure, I can give the people in the bleachers more exposure and more viewing, so there's not going to be a bad seat in the house. So we went back for another day and we spun it all around. We moved it from the base up to the stage. We actually modified it. We had to cut it down by about 100 mil just to get it onto the stage so it wasn't overlapping the stage and unsafe. So that was actually, I was quite buzzing about that, to be fair. Much better. It goes much better. So all the base mats I've cut. All I need to do the night before is just cut all the angled mats really and just tape it all up. So that's fine. So it'll be a few hours setting that up, mate, and it should be sound ready rock and roll. But there was a lot of cost as well. I mean, Dolomere mats aren't cheap, mate. You know what I mean? So I had to buy up those Dolomere mats. A few guys were texting me going, "Oh, mate, I just seen you cutting Dolomeres. What are you doing?" I was like, it's cost me a bit of money to butcher up some Dolomere mats, but it's just because of the shape of it. You know what I mean? The wastage is so crazy. But it's like I said, it's going to be for future events. I mean, it's not going to be just for one event. So hopefully we'll continue this forward. There's been a really good buzz about it, to be fair, mate. There's been a really good buzz about it. Quite happy with how things is going, to be honest. And I am excited. It's just logistically, it's proven difficult along with other things that I've got. I run a construction company. Obviously, I do the gyms in Fife and various other bits and pieces where I've got to have a family and stuff as well and keep all that side of things spinning. So, it's been a mad, but I'm communicating with everyone via obviously social media. So I'm jumping on a personal page or maybe the Diamond Alley page or my gym page, speaking to people through that, and then Facebook, and then WhatsApp, and then, you know what I mean, and Messenger, all that sort of stuff. So it's pretty crazy. So yeah, mate. I've got Pedro on as well. Pedro just competed there in that picture. He just competed down south. He's only been training with us about 9 months. He's 54 years old. One of Val's students. He just got back to training. So he used to train with us years ago. I remember him, Patrick. He worked on it. So I got him matched with somebody else. The guy had to pull out. So I said to Pedro, look, do you want to take that place? He goes, no bother. I'm happy to take that place. So that's quite a cool match as well, mate. You know what I mean? It's going to be a no-gi match, and it's 75 kilos. Pedro just got a gold in Newcastle, chucked himself in. He got matched with a guy at 30. I think the guy was 36 or 30, something like that, and just beat him as well. So he's really, really good. He's hitting it pretty hard at the minute. Patrick's just back from sort of long sort of time off. So although Patrick's maybe had more time on the mat, I still feel it's quite a fair match, if you know what I mean, because of the time that they're both sort of trained. So that's pretty cool.
Yeah.
So
definitely. Yeah. I mean, there's a lot of good matches. You mentioned Ryan Kelly, Patrick Rowan. Do you know what I mean? Obviously, two old teammates as well going in.
I know, mate. Ryan's kind of Ryan's doing a really good job at the minute. He's going full time with the industry, so he's basically teaching BJJ, and he's also doing his RK performance, like he's strength and conditioning for clients as well. So he's doing a really good job of that, mate. You know what I mean? So he's basically, and then Patrick, he's been kind of focusing full time, I think, on grappling and stuff as well for a long time. Two of them are big boys, mate. The two of them are local boys. Former teammates as well. He used to train, obviously, Patrick with his Wales until he moved to Glasgow. But there's no bad blood all that. It's just a good match. You know what I mean? It's a really, really good match. I don't think it's either a win. It's not a win-loss for any of them. It's just great experience. They would probably love the chance at a row with each other if they could logistically sort of make it happen on a more open mat scale. So it'll be a good chance for them to get on the mat together and sort of go head to head and see who comes out on top there. Main event, obviously, we've got a little bit of a spanner in the works there. Kevin Lobban versus Brian Hislop on a combat jiu-jitsu level. It's not going to be just like your combat jiu-jitsu with your slaps. The both guys, because they were meant to fight MMA previously and it never happened, have agreed to MMA gloves on when it hits the deck, elbows and punches and basic hand fists, etc. So it's basically full pro rules when it hits the deck, really, on MMA. So they really want to get a tussle about it. You know what I mean? I think that's probably going to be one of the best ends to a show, to be fair, as well. Just like loads of cool grappling, flying submissions and that. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And then these guys are just going to go at it and probably start thumping each other off the slanted walls. So that should be pretty good, mate. I'm looking forward to that, actually. And Kev, I've known Kev for years. Obviously, he's pretty game. I've competed against Brian as well years ago as blue belts as well, man. You know what I mean? I think he's still a blue belt. Kev's still a blue belt as well. So it's very like the matchup, just like sort of, it's like it was meant to be. You know what I mean? It's meant to be. Both being blue belts for years and years and years, but they've both been pro fighters for years and years and years. And they've both done some things on the outside of training and that as well. And this is sort of bringing them together, giving them a good focus as well to try and sort of probably trying on a positive sort of path in that as well. Brian's doing quite a lot of positive stuff at the minute, and Kev's trying to get resell as well. So these things, the martial arts in general, mate, try and keep people on a little bit more of a better trajectory, I think, than the distractions of life. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Obviously, going back to one of the fights you mentioned, obviously Patrick Rowan and Ryan Kelly. Obviously, Patrick Rowan. Again, I know both of these guys. Myself, obviously, seen both of them compete. Love seeing the two of them out there competing. So, obviously, Patrick, as we know, goes down the IBJJF route and won a lot of medals. Won a lot of medals at IBJJF. And he's one of the guys out there. He's part of that crew. There's Blair Hamilton, Shea Montague, Ross Smith. I'm probably missing a couple. Do you know what I mean? So, but they're all part of the same crew and they all travel to different comps and stuff like that together. So, huge amount of experience for Patrick. And then Ryan Kelly. Ryan Kelly's one of the guys. It's like total redemption in jiu-jitsu. I mean, when I remember talking to him when I went up to visit GB earlier in the year, and he talked about when he started. he was heavy, very, very heavy. I think he was, what was he saying, something like 120 kilos or something. And he saw the post. I think you'd put a post up. It was either you or Val. I think it was you. And he said, "Oh, what's this jiu-jitsu stuff? All right, let me give it a try." And like everybody, when you walk in the door and you try it for the first time, you think, "Man, this is shit. This is terrible." So, but then as you keep going and going and going, and the discipline, the respect, it gets everybody eventually. Do you know what I mean? So he's a total redemption. And again, Ryan's one of the guys I love seeing him out, especially sub only, because I think that's where Ryan excels, where he's got freedom to do what he wants. He doesn't need to worry about points. He doesn't need to worry about anything like that. And he's got some wicked leg game. He's got a wicked leg game, man, which is, I always laugh and say, where did you learn that? Because Darren didn't. You're not learning that under GB. So, but absolute wicked leg game, man. I absolutely love it. I remember seeing him. I'm trying to remember who he was up against.
He was up against Shea Smith at the sub-series.
Yes.
Remember it, mate. You're right. I mean, it's not me that's contributed. His teammate Dylan Barr has a massive contribution towards the leg game. They sort of come together quite a lot, and that's what's good, I think, as well, about people helping each other in the team. And we spoke about that previously, about no cliques, you know what I mean? People just like come in and like, even on a Saturday here, mate, I give the guys access to the gym and they come in and they go study hall. So it's basically just guys coming together and they chat about what's been taught during the week. Some guys might have missed the class, so they get a chance to sort of touch base on what's been done in the class. Or if they see some mad submission on an event, etc., and they want to kind of sort of analyse it and dissect it, they do that as well. So it's cool. So that's pretty much what's happened with Ryan and that as well. You know what I mean? Like, Ryan's obviously took a liking to the leg game, mate. He's really, really, obviously, he's not exactly a small guy. Although he did come in as a big guy, he's still very, very strong, mate, and very, very powerful. And he worked in the leg game as well. But you're right, that match, I was really impressed with him, that match with Shea Smith, mate. Like, I think he got really unlucky there, to be fair. Small error of judgment, and then he got caught. But in my opinion, it was definitely his right up to the end of that point. Where it was it was right his. But it was unfortunate, mate. But it definitely cemented that Ryan should be in that mix with the top guys. You know what I mean? 100%. And Patrick's a top guy as well. Patrick is a top guy. Hats off to him for the dedication and commitment that he's put towards his journey, for taking himself, like, obviously when he came to us, right, he came to us as a keen kind of like, obviously, blue belt that really wanted to sort of step the game up as well. But as soon as he moved through the grip and that as well, you sort of immerse yourself, like you said, with the guys travelling around and stuff as well. And if you're hitting like IBGFs quite a lot, mate, you're gathering packs of experience, you know what I mean? Something that I did when I was a blue belt and a purple belt and a brown belt and I was travelling the world. If nobody wanted to come with me, it didn't matter. I was just going anyway. I remember I was in France competing at Naga and that, and my old man worked in London at the time, and he phoned me. He was like, "What's happening this weekend? Like, what are you up to?" He didn't even know I was going, and he didn't use Facebook that much or whatever. And I was like, "I'm in France. I just landed in France. I'm doing a weight cut, and I'm just going to get weighed in and stuff because you got to weigh in the night before." And he goes, "Oh, I'll come over and do that with you." So he just got the channel, the train across on the channel, and then we competed and stuff as well. You know what I mean? And he's back to work. I was back to Hangway as well. So it's quite cool to have that experience, to jump on a train, away you go, or a plane or a whatever, and you're around the world competing. And that's pretty much what Patrick's doing at the minute. So it's a cool match. It's a really cool match. The Jungle Boys are doing like that as well, man. They're always fucking smashing like comps and that as well. Like, even I think they're in Amsterdam this weekend, Milan, Spain, wherever they are, I mean, they're always going to big comps and that as well, which is decent. And then it shows on the local scene as well, because when you start to go international, man, and then you come back on a local scene, it becomes like, I felt anyway. I went to Europeans and I got beat my first match at blue belt European, but when I came back and started to hit, like, obviously just competing in normal local ones again, it made the nerves a lot easier. Like, the level obviously wasn't as high, so like, obviously, you know what I mean, it made so much things a lot easier as well. So I definitely think it's not to be sniffed at, like, not to be sniffed at all.
The thing with Patrick and Ryan, obviously Ryan just coming in there with the gorilla. We'll touch on that in a minute, the gorilla, because obviously you've heard the question. But I mean, they're two opposites. I mean, I'd say Ryan got into it as a heavy guy, then dropped weight, whereas Paddy came in as a smaller guy
and then went
put weight on. So, and that's the thing. Do you know what I mean? You've got two guys that are now they're meeting there. Do you know what I mean? And I think this will be matchup of the day in my eyes. I think these two guys are. Do you know what I mean? They're facing each other at the right time. I mean, you probably couldn't have put them together 2 years ago, 3, 4 years ago, or whatever. Do you know what I mean? So
That's a good point, actually.
I think now, do you know what I mean? Now's the right time, because now both of them have got a good bit of experience. Yeah, Paddy's got a lot more experience, but Paddy's got a lot more experience in he's done a lot of sub-onlys as well, but a lot of his experience comes from a points game, IBJJF rule system, whereas obviously sub-only, I mean, you talk about ADCC rule set, do you know what I mean? It's obviously all very, very different to what Paddy's done previously, do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So I think it'll be a very, very exciting matchup, do you know what I mean? So...
Yeah. Definitely, I definitely think I agree with that. Actually, it's going to be really good. It wasn't when I got that match. You know, it was like one of the first matches, first matches that was made as well, which was cool, which is pretty sweet. Ryan's obviously he's taking it seriously as well. Like I said previously, I know he's going full in with coaching. He's doing coaching in the gym. He's obviously doing his own coaching clients. He's also got a kid and a wife and a family and stuff as well. A house and all that sort of stuff as well. So. Man, like, this is a really good opportunity for Ryan to basically get in the mix with a guy that's young, hungry, competing loads, and smashing it out. You know what I mean? So that's pretty good for Ryan as well.
Yeah. Obviously, Dale Boy, obviously Cody Steele's dad just saying, obviously looking at the setup looks epic. Do you know what I mean? It definitely does. And it's something very different to what we're used to seeing, just the flat mats and stuff like that. So it'll be interesting to see, because, and again, I always talk about people when they do grappling in a cage and saying use the cage as an advantage. Well, those kind of ramps that are around the side, use that as an advantage. We saw that at CGI where guys were having a hold of their opponent and they were running up and then pulling them down. So it's an advantage. As I say, definitely use it, because it's there. It's an advantage for everybody to use. So
the reason I chose that venue as well wasn't because I wanted to be in Dundee. It was just because the venue like suited that style of event. I just like the tiered seating, the thing with, you know what I mean? Like, the setup was perfect. But I think how I've got it now on the stage, it's not going to limit me as to what venue I can go to, you know what I mean? So it would be perfect. Whereas I think before, if I did have it on the base level, it might have limited me to where I could go. So I think I'm really looking forward to it. And see, when I talked to the venue owner that I'm going to try and put on the stage, he was like, "Oh, that's perfect, because there's lights and stuff, and there's more dramatics that we can actually create with it being on the stage than if it was in the middle of the room." You know what I mean? So I was like, that's bang on, then that's perfect. So he was buzzing about it as well, so that's pretty cool. That's pretty smart.
Guys, definitely support it. I mean, as Darren mentioned this earlier, talking about supporting like comps that come up, whether it be sub-only comps or, do you know what I mean, even any kind of local competition, tournament styles, all that kind of stuff. Do you know what I mean? It's very, very important to support them, because, do you know what I mean, without the support, they're not coming back. Do you know what I mean? And that's the thing.
I always say to my guys, mate, if you want something that's beneficial to you and going to help you get on, support it 100%. And if you can't support it, share it with somebody who can support it, because they'll support it for you just now, and then you can use it the next time. You get what I'm saying? So see if you can't get to that comp because you've got a wedding, share it with your pal. Convince him to go, because if that comp organiser comes up from down south and comes up with loads of logistics, loads of costs, loads of medals, and doesn't get anybody competing on that, they're not going to come back, you know what I mean? And that means that you've got to wait 4 months before that comp comes round, 5 months before, and before that, you know what, you're not even like BJ anymore. You're not got nothing to keep you motivated. So I think that everyone's in the sport for a different reason, but these things do contribute to the growth of the sport, if you get what I'm saying. And you know what I mean? Like, saturation, you could talk about saturation a lot if you want, but there is a demand for it. You know what I mean? There's a we're at a saturation point at the minute. I think that if you provide a good value of what you offer, like a good service, people are going to then start to use it. So all it's going to do is lift up the other value that other people will provide, and it makes it we get a better service for the same value, if not sort of less. You know what I mean? So we'll talk about that. Ticket price. I feel that a ticket price at £30 is really fair for what's on offer. Some MMA shows are going for £50 a ticket, 45, etc. Some I think I looked at ADCC and it was like £37, and I think that's getting very, very similar to sort of what you're getting for as well. A lot of good matchups, etc. It's a great show. It's a great venue in that as well. There's no really a bad seat in the house, etc. So if these organisations, so to speak, can keep their prices very, very reasonable and similar, it's a small entry point for support. But it also means that it's going to return and it's going to actually start to invest and then regrow, etc. for there. The service will become better, you know what I mean? Like, we'll get bigger medals. you might get a massage after or before you compete because they can afford to put a couple of sports masseuses or physiotherapists or that on board as well. You know what I mean? So as and when the organisation grows, I'm just talking me personally, that's obviously my plans as well. We've always looked to provide more. But then other organisations will do exactly the same as well, mate, because they'll have to, you know what I mean? They'll copy and it'll just sort of lift the bar right up.
Yeah. They definitely follow suit. I mean, in regards to Scotland, I mean, sub-only events, I mean, you've only got ADCC Scotland, you've got
SGI.
SGI, I think it was last April was the last
I know,
one.
so that's what I'm saying. It elongates itself. If it's not getting the support that it needs, or it's not getting the energy that he's putting into it, then it'll just start to elongate, and other things will come in before it. Like I think Meat had some sort of like health issue. He had to get that. So he's like, look, I'm going to get that done first, and then I'll put the SGI on. But he needs to feel it that it's going to come his way. You know what I mean? So I think it's really important that as well.
Then you had obviously young sub series coming up in June. You're going to see them coming up. They again are the same. It's like, well, if Scotland wants it, we'll come back. Do you know what I mean? So we've got to want it. We've got to be able to support these guys. Do you know what I mean? I know obviously you've got an event. There's another event going on just a couple of weeks before you, a couple of weeks time. So so there is. I mean, it's not at saturation. I mean, sub only. I mean, I'd say you as a grappler, you're not paying anything to get into it. Yeah, you're having to sell a few tickets, but these people come and watch you anyway.
It's a really good ticket deal as well, to be fair, mate. So if people sell over 20 tickets, they're getting £150. So they're not paying and they're getting paid. You know what I mean? It's like, mate, that's fucking unheard of. You know what I mean? That's crazy. Yeah. And then obviously, as and when the organisation grows, we can maybe even put on some cash prizes, etc. There will be some for sub of the night and like fastest submission of the night, etc. Or like greatest submission of the night or something like that as well. So there will be some sort of awards that we'll put on, but I don't want to put too much on and then obviously spread myself too thin as well. You know what I mean? I want to add these things to the event as it grows. You know what I mean? But I do generally believe what you're saying is true. Like we're not at a saturation point yet. We just need to figure out that best sort of that point. You know what I mean? There could just be too much of a condensement in one area. If we actually started to sit down and run the whole calendar and say, look, I'm going to be here. You can go there. Everyone could literally be buzzing about Scotland every 2-3 weeks and getting a nice event, etc. as well. Yeah, it'll give the people that they've got a common interest for grappling, MMA, or combat sports something to actually look forward to.
Yeah, that's why I was like, remember a young sub saying to me, sub series like, where should we go in Scotland? I was like, we go to Edinburgh.
Capital.
There's no.
So obviously, folk from Inverness, folk from Glasgow come through. Maybe folk from Carlisle and stuff as well come up or whatever. Yeah. So it's quite central.
Because nothing sub onlys. Do you know what I mean? I was racking my brain thinking, okay, when have we had a sub only in Edinburgh? Because it's always Glasgow.
Aye, Glasgow.
Do you know what I mean? Aye. So I was like, we go to Edinburgh, and I know they were trying to get a venue, and the venue was pissing them about and stuff like that, trying to add on extra charges. Once they found out what it was and they saw the pay-per-view, they then thought, well, hold on a minute, we'll add on extra money, thinking it was bigger. Because obviously you look at the pay-per-view and a lot of these, and the pay-per-view is the highlight reel. Do you know what I mean? Or not the highlight reel, but it makes it look better.
It's like the goodness.
Aye, it makes it look really, really good. Don't get me wrong, it is good, but the pay-per-view makes it look so much better. Yeah. So they were seeing it, and then they started adding on different prices. And do you know what I mean? By the time I think the venue went for like $4,000 for the venue, up to $10,000 just for the venue. Do you know what I mean? And it was like, well, they can't do that. Do you know what I mean? So because then by the time you talk about all the other stuff, bringing the mats up, you've got staffing costs, you've got, do you know what I mean, everything else factored in. Do you know what I mean? You're crazy amount of money. Do you know what I mean?
It's a lot, mate. It is a lot. It is. And really, to be fair, just for a passion project, like it's a lot. Like I'm communicating every single day with something regarding to Daniel Daly. You know what I mean? So it eats a lot of your brain space. You know what I mean? It lives rent free in your head for a long, long time. You want to make sure it's done right. You want to make sure everyone gets good value for it and that as well. So, I think that it's important. That's what I was going to ask you. How does the Scotland versus England sort of kids work on that? So just because we're on it now, on the sub series, how does that work? I was a wee bit confused.
I'm going to be doing I know Robbie's away this weekend, but we're going to catch up with Robbie during the week. So I think it's a point system. I think it's if a kid wins, depending on what they win by, submission, decision, all that kind of stuff. So it's like a point system. And then at the end of the day, obviously the winner, whoever's got the most points is the winner. Okay, so obviously I'm going to be speaking to Robbie because obviously Robbie's the team captain. So obviously they've kind of got what rules they're following when it comes to how the points are calculated and all that kind of stuff. So we're going to find out more about that during next week. We're going to catch up with Robbie. And
is that only for the Scottish versus English fighters? Like, it's not like when you've got two guys for England fighting on it, does that no count to it?
No, I think what they're doing is it's a team. They're picking a team. From what I'm led to believe, they're picking a team. So let's say there's 40 kids on, right? 20 are Scottish, 20 are English. So they'll pick potentially 5. And from what I gather, but as I say, Robbie will kind of keep me right when I speak to him next week. So because obviously the team captains, that's their stuff. Do you know what I mean? So, but yeah, we'll find out more about it. But from what I believe, it's like teams. So they're going to pick a team of X amount, 5 kids from each side, and then go for it. I think so. But I'll be completely wrong, Dan. It's not be the first time I've been wrong. Do you know what I mean? So,
I was just curious. I've kind of seen it, but I didn't understand. I didn't think it was explained fully, so I was just kind of curious about that as well.
I think they were just getting the kind of final details and like the matchups and stuff like that put together, and then once they had all the matchups put together, then they'll come up with a structure of how it's going to actually work. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So yeah, we'll find out. We'll catch up with Robbie. I know he's away this weekend, so we'll definitely catch up with him next week. Tickets, Dan. How much? How much are the tickets? Where can you get them?
So tickets are £30 per event. So you've got £30 for the juniors, £30 for the adults. If you've got a junior ticket and you want to stay for the adults event, you'll get an adults event ticket with your juniors ticket for a tenner. So you'll just get one of them for a tenner. So if you've got a juniors ticket, say, for instance, right, I'm not bothered, right? See if someone was at the junior event, mate, right, and they had a junior ticket and they were walking out the venue and somebody was walking in and they handed them their ticket and was like, oh, you get a ticket tonight for a tenner. Go and get it. I didn't mind that, you know what I mean? But I'm going to try and have all the tickets out so I'm not selling tickets on the door. But if they want to, they can maybe get them so they can, like, I'm here at the event. I'm staying for the adults anyway. Well, maybe there's a discounted price. So there you go. You get 2 for £40. Basically, the full day, basically, £40. But they're £30 each. A lot of people are kind of asking me questions about that. There's a lot of confusion because there's 2 events on the same day, etc. You know what I mean? But it's just really because I have the venue set up and I wanted to give something to the juniors. Because not a lot of people... Like, they don't concentrate on juniors that much, you know what I mean? And they kind of sort of get ignored. But they are predominantly what's going to be making an adult card in 5 years' time. You get what I'm saying? So I think it's important that we give them a platform at the same time as the adults, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So
I know that they can get them from the chosen grapplers. So if you go to see
so I'm going to be sending tickets to all the chosen grapplers ASAP. Like, I've already got like 5 or 6 guys got tickets now. I'll be dropping a lot of them off and sending a lot of them out as soon as possible. And then I've got a couple of final matchups to sort of pencil in, and I'm just going to sort of call it a day on that. I think we're looking at about 20 kids matches, maybe 15 to 17 sort of adults matches as well, which is pretty cool. I've got one pull-out happened just the other day, which is the only pull-out, which obviously I didn't want to bring into fruition, but I'm going to get that guy matched. Obviously, I'll look for a matchup for him. But apart from that, mate, it's been pretty sweet. So I thought, if I leave it sort of this long to get the tickets out, then I'm not going to have loads getting sent back to me, etc., because the guy's not going to be competing anymore. So that's perfect. So that's my next job, is to get them out and get everything finalised, get all the itineraries sent out to people via WhatsApp and stuff as well, and get all the entrance music back in, and just get all the logistics sort of things. You know what it's like, mate? You're coming down the commentary, which I appreciate, mate. That's going to be bang on with the pay-per-view. I've now sent them over the pictures and stuff and the videos of the venue, because what they knew was happening before was that it was going to be set up in the middle. Now they can set up better cameras and they can get a better view, and they might not need like 2 or 3 cameras. They might just get away with 2 cameras, you know what I mean? So it'll be perfect. Or they could have a crowd camera going to the crowd, etc., or the event, you know what I mean? Or
a Dundee crowd, Dan. A Dundee crowd, man. I would keep the camera away. Do you know what I mean? We don't want to see too many.
It'll be at the bar, mate. Just, wow, let's go.
What about, obviously, nighttime? Right. So obviously the adult show. Are kids going to be allowed at the venue that night? Is there any licensing laws?
The after party,
No. No. So obviously you've got the kids during the day, but the adult show. But are the kids allowed to the adult show? Is there licensing laws? Is there anything like that?
It's something I'll speak to the venue about, but I think with my understanding, probably will be, because it'll be served over 18 at the bar. So basically, a kid can't go to a bar and get served. So it's not going to be like you can order for the table. I think it should be fine, to be fair. It's not going to be like a nightclubby sort of event, etc. It's going to be a family sort of esque run event. I'll speak to the venue about that, get the final details on that. But yeah, there'll be no drinks sold at the juniors event, obviously. The last thing I want is drunk parents screaming for their kids, break his arm. But at the nighttime event, obviously there'll be alcohol and that served and stuff as well. So, like I said, the juniors will start 8 o'clock. The juniors will come in and they'll all get their medicals till 9 o'clock. And then from 9 o'clock we'll start, and then we're going to finish at 2 o'clock. And then from 2 o'clock, the adults can come in and get adults competitors. And then they can get their medicals till 4 o'clock, and then we'll open the doors, and then we'll start at I'm looking to start at 4 o'clock, so we'll probably open the doors about 3:30, whilst the last of the guys are getting the medicals done, and then we'll kick off sharp for 4 o'clock. We were always quite punctual with Art of Combat sort of kicking off on time and that as well, so I want to try and keep that sort of punctuality sort of time, and I need to, because I've done the numbers, and if every single match runs the full time limit, then we're going to be there till 10:30 at night, 11 o'clock at night. So really, I've kind of sort of, that's where I'm offering up some cash prizes for fastest submission, because that'll keep the action flowing and it'll keep my timekeeping on point. So so that'll be pretty cool. But yeah, I think it should be fine, mate. We're going to go white belts and the blue belts as a 5-minute round, and then the purple to black belts will be 6-minute rounds. So potentially 18 minutes of action there, with 2 minutes in the rest for a wee breather and some water. So by the time you take into consideration the walkouts and stuff, you're 22 to 25 minutes per fight. You know what I mean? If it goes the distance. So that could really easily sort of step itself into like late night. So we want to try and obviously be finished up, because obviously I've got my team in that sort of dismantling the event and stuff, chucking it in the vans and what have you. And we want to go for obviously a night out afterwards and enjoy and celebrate and stuff with all the guys that were there. So definitely.
Pay-per-view link the week before?
Pay-per-view link, mate. I'm going to send out the pay-per-view links, obviously, ASAP. We'll speak to the guy about that as soon as possible. I was trying to, it's been a bit of a logistic. I don't know if you know much about this, mate, but I was going to try and get like a sort of itemised kind of pay-per-view link that people can give to the exact people, so I can sort of monitor, obviously, who's coming and who's like sort of doing what. Because I want to support people that support me as well, mate. I've always been that way. You know what I mean? Like, if you're going to come on the event and stuff as well, I'm going to try and obviously do my best to try and get you back on and stuff as well, and I want to try and sort of monitor that sort of stuff as well. So it'll be good for me to, and like say for instance, right, mate, people are, this is just like me speaking out loud. If someone's coming from down south, right, are you selling much tickets in Dundee? No, you're not. You're coming from bloody Bristol. But if you're sold 100 pay-per-view links, and then I appreciate your support, so I will then get you guys back on, because you showed contribution to obviously the event, you know what I mean? So which I think is really important, you know what I mean? Which is kind of happened. So there's a lot of guys coming up from down south. We've got a bunch of guys matched with Fifth Element, and they're all competing on ADCC the next day as well. So they're making like sort of weekend of it. So they're totally buzzing. They've given me loads of good matchups and stuff as well. Trying to get as much of their guys matched as possible. And they'll probably do a bit better on the pay-per-view than they will do the ticket sales, etc. And that's cool. But as long as they make a little bit of an effort, you know what I mean? It should be perfect.
So keep an eye out for that. We'll obviously, I'll get the link posted out as soon as we get the pay-per-view details. We'll get that posted out. Make sure you go to your chosen grappler as well. If you're going to see somebody in particular, make sure you go and see them directly, because you'll get tickets directly from them. As Dan said, I mean, the guys sell over 20 tickets. They're getting they're getting money back, which obviously the grapplers love getting paid. Do you know what I mean? And plus, there's nothing better than going to, I mean, me and Dan have been in a similar position where we've went to places and competitions that we've been on our own, right? So to have anybody there watching us was
just a small crowd of people shouting on your name, man, when you get a submission or something, or even when you're in a bad spot, mate, you're on the bottom and you're getting crushed, but you've got a minute rest, right, to recover, and someone's going, come on, Patrick or Ryan, get up. It just kind of lifts your spirit in that, and it could literally be the tipping point of you winning or losing, mate. I swear to God. So having 5-6 people there just shouting your name, or even more than that, can make a massive difference. I've seen it many years with guys fighting MMA, etc. What they've done with a massive crowd behind them. they could take on the gorilla, mate. They could beat 100 gorillas. They could smash 100 gorillas.
But the Scottish crowd, they do give encouragement, but in our own way, So obviously, if you're from Scotland, you know exactly what I mean by that. So, but we've got our own way of showing, encouraging our people. So it's very animated. Let's put it that way. It's very animated. So
expressing ourselves in a very, very animated manner.
Obviously, the big question going around: 100 men versus a gorilla. Darren, what do you reckon? 100 men versus a gorilla?
This is an interesting question, mate. It's mad, to be fair, to be honest with you. Let's think about this logically, right? Realistically. Do I think 100 men could take on one gorilla, right? And if you're talking about 100 UFC fighters, Conor McGregor and fucking Thiago Alves and fucking Jose Aldo and fucking John Jones, I do think, right, that they could take out a gorilla if the 100 men went at the gorilla, right, the exact same time. Because I reckon if I walked outside right now and there was 25, 14-year-old laddies, I reckon I could probably wipe out about 2 or 3 of them, but the overwhelm of them would be like colossal.
Yeah.
Who wants to take? So who
wants to go first?
These 3 14-year-olds have just had an absolute rough time with me. But all their mates jump in and they get the better. So that as a collective team, they get the better of me. But what I think changes the game in that scenario is who's taking the hits for the gorilla first. Because that's where I think could change the game. Everyone's going to be a bit apprehensive. Like, realistically, like, obviously, it's never going to happen. It'll be very, very, mate, 21st century, mate. You never know what's going to happen. Like,
listen, Craig Jones, man. Craig Jones might have it.
Craig Jones is a mad guy, mate. He'll have that venue, loads of gorilla. He'll have, like, the circus or whatever, and some guys going, honest. But Dana White with the slap thing as well, mate. Like, we can't say never it's going to happen. But really, a man or 1 man or 2 man could get seriously ravished before 85 or 95 men jump on the gorilla and stop that ravishing. So who wants to take the ravishing? That's the thing. So that's going to be. So you're going to have like 2 or 3 crazy guys that are willing to take absolute. You know what I mean? So
yeah. I don't know, man. I seen they were doing a lot of it, and they were saying that one guy was saying it's impossible for 100 people to get to the gorilla all at the same time. Do you know what I mean? Because realistically, what you got a circle around the gorilla, there may be
10,
half a dozen, 10. Yeah. So he says they all jump on. Yeah. And then by the time the other ones get there, the gorilla's already done the first 10 people. Do you know what I mean? And it's so on and so on. So so there was a couple of people saying impossible. The gorilla would win all the time. But again, as you said, depends on the guy.
Teeth this size, mate. Some sinking into the legs or the body, etc. Puncture the heart muscle. There's you done. Lying on the deck. That's one person done. A big swipe to the face on the other guy. I don't know. Like it realistically, I think.
Would you reckon it would it have to be a specific type of person, like an MMA fighter, for example, as opposed to a grappler?
It would have to be like 100 Brock Lesnar's or 100 John Joneses or someday. Definitely. I think it couldn't just be 100 guys for the street, and I think that the chances would significantly rise if there was 100 UFC fighters or MMA fighters. I definitely would say that 100%. But I do still feel that everyone is going to be apprehensive about going forward, to be fair. So it's who's going to take. I'm not going to. Even me, mate. I'm quite ballsy, but I'm not going to bail in and try and take a couple of shots for a girl. You know what I mean? Not a chance. I'd let my buddy do it first, and as soon as he done it, I'd try and get. You know what I mean?
Dan, you're the coach. You're the professor. You're the coach of that, right? Guys, you go first. We'll start with the white belts.
Send them a white belts blue. First. Get the gorilla tired. Send them my blue belts. Then the purple belts will still be getting warm up, so they'll probably hate to send them brown belts first, and then the purple belts. They're up with black belts.
That's why there's a structure, guys. That's why there's a power structure.
It's a hierarchy. You know what I mean?
Yes. So, guys, there we go then. Diamond Alley. Diamond Alley is going to be Saturday, 24th of May, the Bonar Hall in Dundee. So, obviously, there's going to be a kids' show during the day, then the adult show later on in the afternoon, right into the evening. Obviously, tickets. Make sure you do get your tickets from your chosen grappler. Dan, if they're not going to see anybody in particular, how would they get tickets? Is there a place where they can get them from you?
Just come to our Instagram page at Invented Diamond and then just message me there. or my number will be somewhere or whatever as well, or me personally, I can make sure I get them sent out to that person. Probably picking them up from the venue is probably not going to be an option because it's not really their job to sell them for the venue. It's probably going to be my job or the fighters' jobs. So I just contact me personally, mate, and I'll make sure 9 times out of 10, if they contact me from a different area, I'm going to have somebody in Glasgow that can meet them and get them tickets, which would go towards their commissions anyway. So I'm going to probably do that. So I've always done that with all the shows that I've done anyway. So it's going to probably be the easiest way. So I've had a lot of response actually for people asking for tickets like quite early on as well. So I've actually got them all out now to people and stuff. Well, getting them all out to people now as well. So it's pretty good. So.
Yeah, so that's _diamond, as they just dropped Darren a message on there. Most of you will probably have Darren on social media anyway, so either drop the page a message or drop Darren directly a message, and you will get your tickets. As I said, chances are you're not going to be going to this event if you're not going to see somebody in particular anyway. So
if you're a lot of folk coming, like saying I'm going to come down just to watch it and that as well, they didn't have much guys on, or they don't have any teammates or that, and they just want to come and watch it because it's a new kind of concept as well. So that was quite good actually. I thought that as well because I thought exactly the same as you. I thought you're not going to come if you didn't have any like mates or that on it or teammates. But I've had a few guys saying they're just going to come along just to support it and stuff. So it's quite cool.
Yeah. Pay-per-view link as well. Pay-per-view link will go up. Obviously, Dan will get that put out to the guys, put out to all the grapplers and so on. So we'll get that up. I'd say there's nothing better, nothing like though being in the actual venue. If you're local or you can get to the venue, go to the venue, because I'd say the atmosphere in live and in person is so much different to what it is on the pay-per-view. As in the pay-per-view, you're only seeing the good bits, the TV bits. Do you know what I mean? All the stuff that goes on in the background and stuff like that. There's a lot of funny shit happens on days that you don't see on the TV in the background. So it's definitely worthwhile being there and in person. I'd say there won't be any alcohol during the day for obvious reasons, a kids show. Alcohol obviously will be later on in the evening. Dan said as well, where the venue is, there's kind of pubs local and stuff like that. So if you are going and it's a day out, obviously jump in pubs or whatever. Don't come in steaming drunk though. Do you know what I mean? Definitely do not come in steaming drunk, because you will be sent away from the venue. As I said, it's even though it's a grappling event, do you know what I mean? And it's especially like adult show later on in the night. Do you know what I mean? It's still a lot of respect in grappling. We can't have anybody just coming in steaming and kicking off, causing a scene and all that kind of stuff. So
one of the things as well that's quite important, as you mentioned, that is what we do with like these shows and stuff as well, MMA or BJJ, is it's still pretty new to some venues. So a lot of them don't actually let you do these type of events as well, because of what crowd they think that it brings. So we constantly need to show them that it's not bringing that type of crowd. You know what I mean? It's bringing a respectful sort of person in that's disciplined, etc. as well. Aye, everyone gets drunk, mate. It's not a big deal, but just be respectful, be disciplined, etc. Have fun, but don't shine yourself in a bad light, and certainly don't shine the promotion in a bad light either. You know what I mean?
Gym as well, man. Your own gym. Do you know what I mean? Because as I said, if you kick off, let's say you're from a gym, right, and you kick off, you're steaming, you kick off and stuff like that, the first person that's going to be posting about it on social media is me, right? Yeah. And I'm going to be putting up, it was such and such from such and such gym, right? And then it then looks bad on that gym. So it's your coach isn't going to be happy. Do you know what I mean? We've heard people being kicked out gyms and stuff like that for less.
Very common, and I've done it myself, and I will do it again. Simple as that. It will not be tolerated. The adverse effect at the back end of that is so much more powerful that it's very, 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 very important.
So don't embarrass yourself. Don't embarrass whoever you're going to see. Don't embarrass your people around you, your gym, and do you know what I mean? Don't shine a bad light on the promotion either. Do you know what I mean? Because as I say, as Darren said, a lot of these places open their doors up, and they would never do it any other time. I mean, there's so many places out there. I mean, trying to get a venue in Glasgow is an absolute nightmare because they don't put on MMA shows, and even though it's a grappling show, it's still linked to MMA. That's the way venues look at it, and they do not put MMA shows on in a lot of venues in Glasgow. So
the first time we did that at Combat, mate, the police were there, the council were there.
Yeah,
mad. They were there for literally 20 minutes. They watched 2 fights and they were happy as Larry, and they went away. Every time they put on a show thereafter, we contacted them, we notified them. They never even came. They just knew it was fine. And we got into other venues because of using the Alhambra venue as such a prestige kind of venue as well, but because of the obviously the feedback from the previous events as well. So it's important, like it's very important.
Yeah. Plus, there'll be a load of guys there. I mean, as do you know what I mean, we're very protective of what we do. Do you know what I mean? So if anything kicked off, do you know what I mean, you'd be out straight away. Do you know what I mean? So, so guys, definitely get your tickets. Darren, final thing from you then. Final words of wisdom.
Just looking forward to the event, guys. Thanks very much to you, my man, for obviously having a chat with us. I know that you're a busy guy. You're always doing some stuff like, mate, like the stuff that you do for the community and stuff is second to none. You know what I mean? And we had more guys like yourself would be absolutely top of the pops. You know what I mean? It's brilliant. So keep doing what you're doing, mate. And I appreciate you coming along, commentating, giving your feedback, giving your knowledge, educating people that are watching and stuff as well. Like we spoke about a lot on this podcast, it's just down to support. We don't need the support from every single person. We just need the support from a small amount, and then that leads to a big amount, and it can support every single person as well. So that's what's important. You know what I mean? I feel like I've got that from my own team, and I feel like I've got that from the wider community. Although everyone represents a different team or brand, etc., whatever they're doing, I think that they all sort of collaborate together. We see it numerous times in Scotland. It's a very, very small community as well, so there isn't really that much drama, to be honest with you. So it's pretty cool. So
so this will be Dan's phone again. So obviously he gets cut off there. So but yeah, listen, an absolute pleasure talking to Darren Clark. I'd say I love talking to Darren. Catching up with Darren. As we chat regularly, whether we're at competitions or do you know what I mean, doing things like this or wherever we go. So it's always a pleasure talking to Darren and hearing what he's doing and do you know what I mean, seeing what he's doing because do you know what I mean, Darren's one of the guys. I'd say he has this combat sports at the forefront of everything he does. Do you know what I mean? It's his job, it's his lifestyle. And, do you know what I mean? He's been a lifelong servant of the game. And he wants to give back as much as possible. We saw that with Art of Combat. We're going to see that with Diamond Alley as well. So,
bro.
There we go. So I
got a phone call. That's what it was. It was when I got a phone call, mate. It cuts me out.
Yes. So I was just saying, obviously, for you, do you know I mean, you're a lifelong servant of this game. Do you know what I mean? You're lifelong in this game. Your journeys goes back years. Do you know what I mean? And you're always about giving back to the community, whether it be your own people or the community as a whole. Do you know what I mean? So you're one guy that people can come to for advice, whether they're your student or not your student. Do you know what I mean? You're always on hand to give your own piece of advice. Do you know what I mean?
100%, mate. I stand by that as well. BJJ's given me a lot. I feel that it's changed my life, not just in one way, but many ways. So if I can help contribute to somebody else's life, I just feel it's a wee bit of a pay it forward sort of thing. You know what I mean? So I think it's really, really important that kind of sort of stays in me all the time. And it just goes hand in whatever I do inside my academies, whatever I do with my outside events like Diamond Valley or whatever, I just try and keep that going, mate. So, cheers very much, bro. Much appreciated.
Thank you very much for your time, as always, Darren. I'll be looking forward to the 24th. So, do you know what I mean? As I said, I'll be there. I'll be commentating. We'll be talking some good stuff. Do you know what I mean? And we always talk good stuff. We never say anything bad about the people.
We've chatted for nearly an hour now, mate. You know what I mean? It's all be good stuff.
Yeah. But listen, I appreciate your time. I know you as well, busy man. You got a lot of things ongoing, family, an ever-grown family as well. So obviously the family are doing very well. So, but listen, I appreciate your time. Thank you very much for obviously taking the time to speak to me, Darren. And listen, I'll catch up with you in a few weeks' time then.
Cheers, mate. Catch up with you in a few weeks' time.
Take it easy, bro.
Cheers, mate.